With inflation rates recently hitting an all-time peak in Canada, Marcus Taylor sat down with financial advisor Bill Spence about what that could mean for Canadians.
I'm joined here today by Bill Spence from Schiller Spence and Associates. Thanks so much for joining me, Bill, and taking the time to talk to me today.
Appreciate it, Marcus. Thanks for reaching out.
We've recently reached our highest inflation rate since 1983. In your simplest terms, what did it take for us to get here?
Yeah, it's been an interesting last couple of years. Sometimes people forget that the inflation rate has been fairly stable over the last 10 years. In our planning and working with clients, we've used 2%, even though it was about 1.8% over the last couple of years. But through COVID and some loose monetary policy, governments got money out into the public, into businesses, which was required to get us through COVID. But this is the consequence of that. And now we're starting to see inflation rates, at the end of last year, near 5%, and then late into summer here around 7%. So a fallout of COVID, the support that we got from the government, this is where we're at.
How do high inflation rates affect our communities and the people living in them?
Yeah, and so I mean, for you and myself and our friends and our neighbors, where we're seeing it is at the gas pump, right? It's every time you go to fuel up, it seems like the price has gone up. Despite what my wife says at the grocery store, because I don't buy groceries, but grocery prices have gone through the roof as well. So I mean, for the average Canadian out there, gas prices, groceries. You're going to see that over the course of the winter. You would have seen it in your direct energy bills as well, energy bills, natural gas, and such. And so that's where you're going to notice that. I think the biggest thing through that, as I mentioned earlier, inflation rate has been fairly stable. We've seen a spike. The long-term projection is that we will get this under control. So it's important to look at your budget, your living expenses. How are you able to handle that? If you're on a fixed income or on a retirement basis, have you had an opportunity to sit with your financial advisor to go through that and see what that impact is on your plan, your retirement plan, and what are the consequences moving forward? And do you need to make any necessary changes to that? So really important to sit down with your advisor to go through those different things and the impact it will have on you.
What can people kind of do to endure this time period of high inflation?
Well, so high inflation. So there's a couple of things. One, from an investment side of it, you want to stay invested. As inflation rates rose, the bank is now countered by increasing interest rates, right? So that's the way they're try to bring that down. So that does have some negative implications as people that do have any loans out there. The biggest one for most of us is our mortgage. And so as mortgages are coming due, renewal, maybe you're consolidating debt. Sitting down with an advisor and looking at the difference between a fixed rate and a variable rate. What does that mean? What is the definitions of that? What is the benefit of each? Because they both have benefits. Variable rates are going to have some fluctuation over time. As prime lending goes up, variable rates are going to go up. If you're into a fixed one, you're going to have that same level payment over in a typical 5-year term. So is it more beneficial for me to have that fixed payment, knowing what I'm going to be paying over the next 5 years versus the volatility of a variable rate? Yes, there's a differential, but at what point does it get higher than a fixed rate that you could lend into? And as I mentioned earlier, the spike is temporary, so it's going to start to come down as inflation rates go down. Inflation rates, interest rates will also reduce. So then there's a reduction in years 3, 4, 5 of interest rates. So again, sitting down with somebody, going through it, what is the right fit for you? So that's on the lending side. From the investment side, we talk to our clients, and it's not about timing the market. With the volatility that we've seen in the equity markets over the last 6 months, clients naturally want to pull back from markets investments because they see a loss on paper. And probably one of the worst things you can do is liquidate or move to cash any investments you have, because now you're solidifying those losses, but also you're reducing the opportunity to recap any of those gains that you may have lost over the last 6 months. And knock on wood, the last week has been good in the market, so hopefully the trend is going to move forward. So inside your investments, stay invested. Let your portfolio managers work behind the scenes to take advantage of the upswing. And second is activate any cash. Obviously, if you have cash that you're sitting on that you need short term, keep it as cash. or if you have a large purchase coming up, look at what the options are for you to activate that. But when inflation rate is at 5, 6, 7% and you're sitting on cash, you're essentially losing money on that. And so if you have money, get it actively invested so that you can take advantage of it over a longer period of time.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Bill, thank you so much for joining me. It was really great hearing from you.
Yeah, thanks, Marcus. Again, I wish all your viewers a great long weekend. And if anybody has questions, they're more than welcome to reach out for some one-on-one time with us.
Lloydminster Christian musician Janelle Reinhardt was the MC for the pre and post show at the Papal Mass in Edmonton, Alberta. And our Sarah Baker talked with her about her experience.
I am proud to introduce Janelle Reinhardt to the program. Janelle, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure, Sarah.
How about did it come to be that you became the MC for the pre and post show at the Papal Mass?
So it actually started back in 2002. I was actually chosen to be the World Youth Day theme song singer when Pope John Paul II came to Toronto for World Youth Day, where there was 1 million young people live. And so I was the theme song singer for that event, and I was 22 years old, and I participated throughout the World Youth Days and got to sing for Pope John Paul II there, as well as in Rome just in the March prior, so World Youth Days in July. I got to sing for him in March at the Vatican. And so I got to know the people that were organizing World Youth Day. And so one of my dear friends, Deacon Pedro, fast forward 20 years to 2022, he called me up and he said, listen, we need a bilingual MC, and we need somebody that can perform as well. So we were wondering if you would like to accept the position.
What did the event mean to you?
There was a pre-program prior to the Mass and a program after. And so I was the MC for the pre and post segments, kind of on either side of the Papal Mass itself. It was at the Edmonton Commonwealth Stadium. So obviously you had 65,000 people to usher in and out. Therefore, they needed segments on either side. But it was really a beautiful experience. I think the fact that the Pope made the effort to come to Edmonton to just reiterate his apology from October 2021 on behalf of the church, and to just really make a point of saying, hey, I want to come and to visit the land that is so important to their culture, visit the land where these tragedies happened, and to continue to say, hey, we are really sorry for everything that went on. And from this point on, we really want it to be a point of healing. So we want to walk together. That was the theme. We want to walk together with you towards healing and forgiveness. We don't expect you to ever forget, and neither will we.
What was a standout moment from the event for you?
The fact that our son Eric was able to perform as well. And we brought our 3 oldest and our wee baby, Noah, who's only 7 months. And kind of totally shocking to us when the Pope was doing his round around the base of the Commonwealth to wave to everybody. Our Noah actually got picked to go up to the Pope, and he got a papal blessing and a kiss. So that was really shocking, but just a beautiful expression of, again, Pope Francis's love for the people.
It sounds like an absolute incredible time you had being the MC for this event in Edmonton.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just, it was wonderful to be a part of the event. It was wonderful to serve alongside my family. So yeah, it was a great blessing for sure.
Thank you again so much for doing this interview with me today.
Now it's time to check in once again with Shelby Clark, who has a look at our long weekend weather forecast.
Thank you once again there, Jace. Yes, now taking another extended look at your weather forecast. We will be starting off with our central zone of our provinces here for Alberta and Saskatchewan. We have cool down just by a few degrees from what we were looking at yesterday on the Alberta side, especially with most spots just seeing past that 30-degree mark. But we are still seeing close to that mark with 28 degrees in Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House, 27 over in Jasper, 26 degrees in Edson and Whitecourt, and Edmonton and Athabasca there at 24 and 25. So we are still seeing past that 20-degree mark. So we are seeing some spots a little bit closer to that 30 degrees. So some spots, of course, do have that heat warning still in effect. So just make sure you are staying safe out there, staying hydrated, and using that sunscreen when needed and finding shade when needed. And switching over to our Saskatchewan side, we kind of flipped the script for today. Now the Saskatchewan side for our central zone is seeing much more warmer temperatures compared to the Alberta side, especially with Saskatoon and North Battleford at 33 degrees, 32 in Prince Albert, while it is 29 in Melfort, and Meadow Lake and Cold Lake definitely have cooled down quite a bit with that 23 mark. Now going over to our northern zone, they have slightly cooled down from yesterday for sure. La Loche and Buffalo and Arrows are both looking at that 30 yesterday. Now they are down to 20 degrees, along with South End and Uranium City. 21, 22 for Wollaston Lake and La Ronge, while it is 27 down in Flin Flon. So Flin Flon's looking a lot warmer compared to the rest, and Stony Rapids is just a degree cooler compared to the rest. Switching now back to our Alberta side here, they are looking a lot cooler compared to yesterday as well. So we have cooled down quite a bit to start off our long weekend. 19 in Fort McMurray, while there's 20 degrees in both High Level and Fort Chipewyan. 22 in Peace River. Slave Lake is just a degree warmer, and Grand Prairie is the warmest with that 26. Now going over to our southern zone. Look at those temperatures. That heat warning is definitely there for most spots on the Alberta side especially. Medicine Hat is even closer to that 40-degree mark with 36. So we are definitely seeing some record-breaking temperatures over in the southern area for today. Please make sure you are staying safe. That's the top priority, using that water when needed and definitely using that sunscreen. 31, 32 for Calgary, Coronation, and Banff, while Lethbridge and Medicine Hat at that 33, 36. And going over to our Saskatchewan side, they are still seeing those warmer temperatures, especially for Kindersley and Swift Current with that 31, 32. 30 degrees in Moose Jaw, and the rest are a few degrees cooler compared to the rest. Now going back across the region, looking at what we will expect throughout our evening tonight into the long weekend. We are going to still be seeing some warm temperatures for our evening lows. Most spots will be expecting that low of 16 for tonight. La Crosse and Muirnham will be looking at a low of 15, while Meadow Lake and Provost will be seeing a low of 13. Wainwright will be expecting the warmest with a low of 19, closer to that 20 mark. We will be seeing some warmer temperatures for sure, but condition-wise, most spots will be expecting that high chance of some showers with a risk of a thunderstorm, definitely needing to cool things down from what they are looking at today. So just keep in tune with Environment Canada. Make sure to watch out for any thunderstorms tonight. And ending off with our 7-day forecast for here in the border city, we will be seeing those same conditions tonight into tomorrow throughout the day. Then Sunday, Monday for the rest of our long weekend, seeing some nice temperatures with 24, 25, then make sure some sun and cloud. Then we will be continuing that warm streak into next week. So once again, we will be expecting a beautiful long weekend ahead here in the border city. That's all I have for now. Our Jace Mackey will have our news coming up after the break. Joining us today for this week's entertainment panel, and this is actually going to be a two-parter entertainment panel, so this is a big thing happening here. And of course, what we are speaking on, this is some big news that's been happening. Marvel, of course. Yeah, of course, we need these two parts to be able to speak on this. So starting off, thank you so much for joining us today, Abby.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Of course, always lovely to have you in here. We're going to be speaking on, starting off with the, of course, San Diego Comic-Con. We have a new look at the She-Hulk Attorney at Law trailer. So big thing about this is that the CGI definitely looks a lot more updated, which I think a lot of people were very happy about to see. Shows a lot more of, I think, you know, with Bruce Banner kind of training Jennifer Walters, training her a lot more, seeing how much more involved he's going to be. Shows a little bit more Wong in it as well, that I think everybody was excited to see. Everybody loves some Wong. And, you know, it shows even the fourth wall breaking of like her looking back. I think a lot of people were like, oh yes, finally we get a little hint of what that's going to have all involved with the wall breaking, because we all knew She-Hulk was going to have that involved. So I think the trailer looks very interesting, and I'm glad we're able to actually see a little better with the CGI of it.
Yes, definitely. The CGI looks a lot better. She looks like Bruce does, because obviously his CGI was already established, so that was super easy just to throw in. We get a little more glimpse of what to expect. At her law firm, they are creating like a kind of a section for superheroes that need lawyers. And obviously her being She-Hulk, she is going to be running that. And like you said, we saw the fourth wall break a little bit, which is nice because that's who she is in the comic book. She breaks the fourth wall, and I'm very excited to see how they do that and what that looks like. But I like that we got just a little glimpse into it. I love that Wong is in it. I love Wong. He's such a great character. So the fact that he's going to be in it as well. And this trailer is a lot more promising than the first one for sure.
And it's really exciting to see that Marvel's got some good series still continuing on that we can all enjoy. But, you know, moving on, there's a lot more to speak about with what was revealed at Comic-Con, of course. Revealing with Marvel has revealed Phase 5, Phase 6. Crazy that 6 even got brought up, you know, like there's so much happening with Phase 5 already, starting off with the whole lineup of what to expect. And then, of course, with Phase 6, like, I'm mostly excited with those 2 new Avengers movies that they're saying they're going to be concluding that phase with. So let's get a little bit more, I guess, into Phase 5, though, and see what was really on the lineup.
Yeah, so this saga is called the Multiverse Saga. That's what they're calling phases 5 and 6, which is fitting because we got a glimpse of the multiverse with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and then before that with Spider-Man No Way Home. So, and then even before that with Loki as well, at the end of Loki with Kang. But yeah, so we have Secret Invasion, which is a series that is coming out in spring of next year, and that's with Nick Fury, you know, and it's following the Skrulls invading Earth, and they are imitating superheroes. So it's going to be interesting to see who's a Skrull and who's not a Skrull.
Yeah,
because
finally.
it's going to be very surprising, and that's going to be exciting. And then we also have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium coming out February 17th of next year. That's exciting. We're going to see Cassie Lang suit up as well. So she's a teenager. She's finally going to be Scott's partner. Because we got a glimpse of her wanting to be his partner in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So that's going to be exciting. And we're also going to get a deeper look into Kang, because he's going to be the villain of that film. So I'm very excited for that. And then we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Coming out May 5th, 2023. And it's going to focus on Rocket's story and his background. So
that's going to be interesting.
It's going to get a little bit emotional because obviously he was stolen and he was experimented on, and you know, he was changed and he was turned, and we kind of got a glimpse of that in the first Guardians. So that's going to be excited, and James Gunn did confirm that this will be wrapping up the Guardians story. So it's going to be interesting how they deal with that. Then we have Echo series coming out summer 2023. That's going to follow Hawkeye's Maya Lopez. That's going to be interesting. All the things that she's caused, or the chaos that she's caused, it's going to come back to her. And so that's going to be fun to see how that happens.
Really excited for Echo. I like her character a lot, so I'm really excited to expand a bit more on there.
Yeah. And then we have Loki Season 2, summer 2023. That's going to come out. That's exciting. We don't have too much information on it, but we're going to see some more variants. And then Blade is coming in theaters November 3rd. Mahershala Ali, I'm so excited for it. I love him in anything that he does. He's fantastic, and I think he's going to be fantastic.
And a nice addition to welcome into the Marvel world, baby.
And we don't really have a plot, but there was a Blade movie back in the 90s, I think, with Wesley Snipes as Blade. So it's going to be interesting to see how Marvel takes it. And then Ironheart solo series, fall 2023. We are going to get introduced to Riri Williams in Wakanda Forever, and she takes on the Iron Man mantle but makes it her own and becomes Ironheart. And it's going to be interesting how she takes on that Iron Man mantle and makes it her own, with already just becoming Ironheart instead. So I'm very excited for that. Agatha Coven of Chaos coming out winter of 2023.
Let's go.
We don't know too much about it. They did change the name to Coven of Chaos.
You gotta love seeing more Agatha. I think the song is still engraved in everybody's skulls
and Catherine Hahn really blew that character away, I think, again. Daredevil, Born Again, spring 2024, 18-episode first season. That's the exciting part. And it's going to start Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. They're reprising their roles as Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk. One of my most exciting ones coming out, Captain America New World Order film. It's going to be the 4th Captain America movie Theaters May 3rd, 2024. We're going to see Sam Wilson as Captain America, even in that title, New World Order. It's a new world. He is Captain America.
Yes.
And I think this is going to, honestly,
For all the haters out there,
yes,
it's coming.
Yes.
Yes.
This is
I know.
confirmed. He is Captain America now. And so I'm very excited for that. Thunderbolts, new movie. Theaters July 26, 2024. That's going to be interesting. Bunch of anti-heroes becoming a group. Fantastic Four was also confirmed, which people are very excited about. November 8th, 2024. And then the final two Avengers movie. The first one, the Kang Dynasty, May 2nd, 2025. And then Avengers Secret Wars, which was also hinted at November 7th, 2025.
Oh, we are set for the next few years. I'm very excited for it, and I'm so glad we're able to speak about this because we had a lot to talk about. But that's all the time we have for part one of this awesome entertainment panel. Stay tuned because we will be getting a little bit more into Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
And that's a big one. We got a lot to say on that, so please stay tuned. But now we're going to throw it over to Heather Clagus to tell us what's happening here in the border city.
Coming up this weekend, you have the chance to travel back in time when you and your family head to Haying in the 30s. It's taking place in Mallaig, and it gets underway with an opening ceremony and a parade on Saturday morning. Then there's so many different demonstrations, including a blacksmith. There's going to be a corn grinder, knife maker, well boring. There's going to be a horseshoeing demonstration. They're going to have a thrasher. They're going to show you how people used to plow, how they used to cultivate, how they used to bale hay. And there's so many different activities for the kids as well. There's kids games, there's face paintings. They also have chore games, an old-time hoedown, and on Sunday morning they have gospel music as well. Admission to this is free, but they are accepting donations to the Haying in the 30s Cancer Support Society. For all the details, you can go online to hayinginthe30s.com. Monday is Heritage Day, and Weaver Heritage Park here in Lloydminster, there's going to be so much for you and your family to do and explore. And one of the places you can explore is this house, Rendell House. It's the first timber-framed house built in Lloydminster. It's over 100 years old, and there's been a lot of work put into restoring this house. You've got an opportunity to take a tour of it and also find out a little bit more. If you have any questions, there will be somebody on hand to answer questions about the house and the city of Lloydminster from that era. And then you can explore all there is to see throughout Weaver Heritage Park. Coming up on Sunday is the next Sandy Beach Summer Market. Arts, crafts, food, live entertainment, and even a kids zone. It's going to be a lot of fun out at Sandy Beach on Sunday. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Welcome back to part two of this week's entertainment panel, or we can just call it the Marvel entertainment panel, pretty much. So if you were staying tuned for part one, we talked a lot about what was revealed at the San Diego Comic-Con, everything revealed, the new She-Hulk trailer. So now we're going to get into another part here, a big one for everybody, probably the most emotional trailer I've seen that Marvel has released, Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
Absolutely. Probably my most favorite trailer they have released for Marvel. It touches base on just so much. And of course, with what happened with Chadwick, this is going to be a very emotional movie, and you can already feel that in this trailer. And so it got over 170 million views first day already. So of course, you know, it's a big thing for a lot of people. You can feel that empowerment through it. Very woman empowering as well, because you could see so much women are like fighters in this. You already saw it from the first Black Panther, but it's going to be continuing throughout it. Of course, we knew from the Comic-Con how much it was hitting the actors as well on stage. They were very emotional seeing that trailer for the first time. It was heartbreaking, and I know watching it in the theaters, it's going to be apt to destroy a lot of us, but it's going to be such a good movie. And you know, in the trailer we had, you know, everything's going to be all right with Tam singing that No Woman No Cry. Then it transitioned into All Right by Kendrick Lamar, which was just an amazing transition.
I
like
got
amazing
chills.
transition.
So many points in this trailer. I could
Yeah.
just feel the chills rushing down. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely
yeah.
amazing for that transition. And of course, my favorite bit is Angela Bassett. Everybody loved this. Like, you could see everybody cutting this out and putting this separately online, just saying like, this part sent me the most chills of her pretty much saying, I'm queen of the most powerful nation in the world and my entire family is gone. Have I not given everything? Yeah. And give her award right now.
Yes.
Give
just
her award
already
right
give
now.
it because that I think Angela Bassett is one of the greatest actresses that we see out in Hollywood. There's many, but she is definitely on the top list. I think she's fantastic in everything that I've seen her in. And that specific scene was so emotional, just that part. We're assuming that that speech takes part during the blip because she loses, obviously, T'Challa and I'm assuming Shuri.
Yeah, in the blip. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
That's what I'm thinking is when she says that.
Yeah.
I think her part in it, like you said, give her the award already.
Yeah, like just showing Lupita standing there on the beach, knowing that it was the girlfriend for Chadwick in the first one, and she's standing there looking out into the ocean. I was already like, all right, I'm already about to bawl. And the empowerment through the whole trailer was just amazing.
This is essentially a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. I think that they've been saying that from the beginning, that this is going to be in memory of him, this is going to tribute him, this is going to celebrate him, with in turn celebrating T'Challa, obviously, because that's the character. But you see the real emotion and love that they had for him coming out. And this is a way to say goodbye to him almost. This is like his send-off, his tribute, his final just goodbye to this character and to him in general. I think this is really like a closure almost. It's sad and we're always going to remember him, and I think this is going to immortalize him. What we get from the trailer, they introduce a new villain from his birth. So like this is going to be kind of an origin story for Namor the Submariner. And he is a mutant. They're saying that he was the first mutant. And it shows his birth and how he grew to hate the land. He lives in and out of water. I think that's what his biggest thing is. And he doesn't need an oxygen mask or a water mask to stay out on land. But he chooses to stay primarily in the ocean in Atlantis. So we're going to see a war between Atlantis and Wakanda.
And that's wild.
That is going to be very wild. And I like that they're showing his growth. Like how he was born and why he hates the land and why he stays underwater and he rules underwater. So that's going to be very interesting to see. I'm very excited for it because it's a different kind of villain, you know? We haven't been introduced to him yet. He's a mutant. But I like that they're bringing Namor into it, and it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how the war happens, the fight scenes, why he hates the land. So I'm super excited to see all the women in it. I'm super excited to see the new villain. I'm excited to see who the new Black Panther is. Every single part of this trailer has made me so much more excited for it, and November 11th cannot come faster.
For Wakanda, strong, independent fighters, women especially, not a new thing for them, you know. They've always been their warriors.
Yes.
So I'm really excited to kind of get back into that world and just see what else they got.
Yes.
And seeing who this new Black Panther is. So many theories. Cannot wait to see which one actually is correct.
Gonna be interesting. I'm excited. I like how they showed just like the quick 2 seconds showing like the claws coming out at the end, and then that's it.
Oh,
I'm very excited.
So pumped. Right before the Wakanda Forever, ending it off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
and the whisper at the end, where it's like Wakanda Forever. That was perfect. That just solidified just how good this movie is going to be.
I love the transition with the Kendrick Lamar song. I honestly downloaded it. It just gives you so much like chills up your spine that
and
you're
having
like,
that no woman, no cry as well. That just solidifies just how Wakanda is woman dominated and how they're so powerful.
And like the theme of them like going through that emotion, of course, like, you know, not letting it tear them down too much of what they lost, and then it transitions into like them fighting and getting that power back into it, because clearly they got the villain and some new bad villains coming towards them, some new bad guys. So excited for it. Really glad we're able to speak about this, but unfortunately that's all the time we have to finish off this two-parter of this week's entertainment panel. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Abby.
Of course, thank you.
And that's all the time we have for first hour of Primetime Local News, but stay with us. Our second hour continues next.